A very good morning to all our dear viewers, and welcome to the Sunday morning where we have invited one very important guest as a speaker with us, Mrs. Pratibha Joshi, who has joined all the way from Karnataka with us for giving this valuable and very vital talk on the issue early childhood care and education. Before I hand it over to ma'am, I would like to introduce her to all of you. She is currently has been associated with the field of education and is a Sanskrit teacher and a trainer at Vidya Bharati teacher at Sant Meera English Medium School. She has organized various programs for high school children to enhance their knowledge, on topics like quiz on mathematics, drawing competition, story writing competition in their own different languages, and has catered to many languages like English, Kannada, Hindi, Marathi, and Telugu. Also, some social activities have been undertaken by her, like plantation and donating food to orphanages through Pratibha Creativity Group. She has served as a project manager at Nisarga Hospital, Sirsi, and have handled unique central government projects like Ayush Grama under the guidance of Dr. Venkataraman Hegde and Dr. Jitesh N. So, ma'am, for the further talk, I would like to hand it over to you, and we would be very eager to listen to your thoughts on the topic early childhood care and education, and what are our roles and responsibilities for it. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much for wonderful introduction, Sumita ma'am. Actually, and I really thank Getty for this opportunity as well. Today, the topic itself is ECCE, as it is introduced with the new education policy. So, I would like to first begin with our new education policy, which was launched by our government of India after after so much of consultation, so much of discussions, and they had conducted a lot of seminars. They had held so many workshops prior instilling this new education policy. So it almost took about 5 years to start this policy. Now, currently, the policy is in public domain, and now it's our responsibility to take it ahead. So this is how there are so many structural changes to revolutionize the Indian education system. Now, along with the path, it is a path breaking and transformationary. So it is something new, or I can say it is something which was there in India prior to Mughals and uh, this invasion. Yeah, I, so that was the thing, and this policy. Sorry for the interruption. Actually, this policy it is showing up high quality education without neglecting 21st century skills, which with some value systems, with some man making life skills activities. So it is shown that NEP 2020 is for the 21st century, and it brings much needed Indian education system, which has been waiting for almost about 35 to 40 years. So what we are doing in NEP, what is this ECCE? ECCE is something, eh, it's with regard to the children. Early, it is early childhood care and education. It is with regard to the children who are of the age from 3 years. So before, in the prior education policies, we had not included nursery, LKG, and UKG in this our national education system. But now, because we are concentrating on the child's education from the as per our Indian tradition, we start concentrating from the garbhavastha, that is from the day one, from the day one of the pregnancy or the conceiver. So from then we are concentrating on uh, this particular education, that is the child education. So we have so many, earlier we had so many balvatikas, anganwadis, and pre-primary classes, wherein we which were not included in the proper education system. But now with NEP 2020, we have included in the normal education with, which is called as ECCE, which concentrates on vocational education, and which also improves the quality of education, and also the standard of living, standard of education, standard of living. It improves the standards of public and private schools. So all that is inclusive in ECCE. What we have done in the new education policy is we have considered the students from a very basic age, that is from 3 years age, that is from 3 years age, and these people 3 years children will have the play based education system, wherein they will not be given routine education, but they will be given the they will be given in the education in a play way. That is, they will not be having any kind of examination, but yet they will be assessed by the teachers. So we have considered things where we have certain rules or certain plans to be followed for this kind of education. So the first point is the national education policy has to be understood in three steps. So effective implementation is possible only when the stakeholders comprehend the minute details of the policy, and these steps have to be followed, and academia, intelligentsia, and education leaders and the implementation have all to be well informed about all important aspects of NAP 2020. So the next is how the success depends on teacher on the ground level in the schools. So we should never forget that there are about 20 lakh Anganwadis and 20 lakh Balvatikas in India, and there are about 8 lakh primary teachers and higher teachers. All have role to implement so these teachers have the point play and their special role in this policy. So educating, empowering, upgrading, and updating them is really about as I said initially, the top to bottom approach is required. Similarly, the bottom to top approach is also has to be followed. So, in this according to this national education policy, the thrust is on multilingualism. So, the power of language, the high quality of textbooks, these the quality textbooks have to be prepared in the local languages, for which actually a lot of effort is being put, because the primary children will be learning in their own language very easily. It is very easy for them to grasp the things at the earliest in their own language rather than different languages. So this is a very special effort to design textbooks and meet the local regional requirements. The next comes is Shrivatika content. The Shrivatika is, again, it is a part of our own education system, that is Vidya Bharati. Uh, it is nothing but the Vidya Bharati's ECCE, Education, Early Childhood Care and Education. So it is completely new concept for the society, but uh, but it is very old than that is Vidya Bharati. It was unique and very successful experiment to develop the children in Sarvangina and Samagra Vikas of a child. Sarvangina means in every aspect of the child should be completely developed. And Samagra Vikas is the development should be in all the aspects. So government is to be provided with these inputs, including the central and state government ministries, of course, not ignoring the other related education organizations and bodies. So before somebody occupies this new things, let's have our presence felt and at the level which is very much essential. So a detailed Shishwatika plan is, of course, is planned, is it is trained, and workshops are held by Vidya Bharati. But if it is required in state and central governments, those have to be done. To implement the policy, these workshops are required. These trainings are required for each teacher. Okay, then as every one of us know that knowledge is continuous, integrated, and comprehensive, there is no hard separation from curricular or co-curricular or extracurricular activities, that is arts, humanities, science subjects. But there is some difference that the school have to the children have to follow. The children have to uh, face, or children have to participate. Rather, I cannot say face, but they have to participate in the activities which will have all the aspects. That is co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities, science subjects, academic and non-academic streams, and so many things. These these this activities for this activities, the content generation has to be made with some time limitation. There should be some time bound approach for this challenging academics. Then we should also concentrate on experiential and integrated learning. What is this experiential and integrated learning? This actually should be adopted, which includes hands-on learning, arts and sports, integrated learning, along with the standard pedagogy. So classroom transaction will slowly shift to competency-based education. So the children will not have all the everything to learn in classrooms itself. They have to learn on hands-on skills. That is, they are given certain work, certain activities wherein they should be able to do it. So basically on these, based on these, we as a teacher, we should have to work out in detail during the implementation time and even during the year, and then get ready for the children and give them a content whenever it is required, whenever. And of course this kind of education will be more enjoyed by the children, as in Vidya Bharati we have been following since a long time. Vocationalization of secondary education, which again comes to national education policy, where from standard 6 to 12th, occasions and skills have to be added and have to be listed. And after studying the local and the field level requirements, the needs have to be considered, and we have to make the professionals ready for the same thing. And the very important aspect is we have to add the local content in the syllabus. See, when the children are small, maybe of between 3 to 8 years, where we consider the ECC part, there the children will not think beyond their society. They're attached to society. They will not be able to think much. So we have to concentrate on the local content in the syllabus. So the syllabus for them has to have 30% of local content, where they should share with the regular mechanism. They have to provide inputs. They should be provided with the inputs by teachers, and they should know the in and around of themselves first, and then they will start with the other things. As we all always say that schooling starts at home. So they should know their home first, and then their area, and then the other aspects. So now coming to the how do we assess in this early childhood education, the how the children are assessed. It is actually a comprehensive framework uh, to evaluate a student. Uh, it's the student's present level and the knowledge and their skills. So this framework, of course, benefits the student as the teacher can design a curriculum suited to learners' needs. So the curriculum in ECCE will be according to the learner's needs, and then derive a suitable learning progression. So for some critical aspects which strengthen the assessment in early childhood can be it can be made it can provide a tailor-made comprehensive learning roadmap instead of one size that fits all approach, one that fits in all approach. So the child is not assessed in the same way. Maybe the child who's scoring high, who grasps early, who grasps more, can score well, and the child who is not that very sharp enough can score less. So but he is highly good in all academic things. So the child is assessed in this way. So this helps to recognize the gaps in learning and the development of child. So this customized solution can of course help to plug in the gaps and uh, give them a relevant support. So assessing the child's strengths and weak areas helps to develop an instructional method more suited to the child. So every child we can concentrate and assess. So this actually helps teachers as well as the child to develop, and and it also gives the child an immense pleasure that whatever he is interested in is being learned and is being assessed. So that's the thing. When this assessment is being done for the whole year and provides solutions, and the child is learning with instructional gadgets or without instructional gadgets. So this kind of assessment provides a basis for changing the curriculum and instructional design and also the implementation. But again, coming to elaborating on the local aspect of learning, individual child's assessment, what about the global things? We, along with this, we should also get the latest global trends. We have to get attached to the what the technology, the emerging areas in the technology. So the learning can be through the course of human ethics and morals. So, artificial intelligence is one among them. Internet of quantum computing. These are the few blockchain technologies. These are the few technologies which where we can train our children with the support of these technologies. And of course, we should be nowadays we should be acquainted with AI, that is artificial intelligence, to speed up the process of learning and also to save time. So this is the attempt to let the computer perform services for which humans need intelligence in, and these areas include economy, healthcare, agriculture, environment protection, and industry. So many other things. See, even during the pandemic period, even now, virtually, we are able to share so much of knowledge. We are able to share so much of opinions, or so many things can be shared or virtually, and we are being connected to each other. So this AI actually helps even the teachers and children to get connected and gain more knowledge and save time. And along with all this, teachers' education has also been transformed. As in Vidya Bharati, we have a complete revamp of teachers' education since the beginning, and the key sector on which the entire education edifies depends on which was not cared for, and actually most neglected ones during all these years after independence, was inevitable, and the present policy aims to achieve it. So detailed suggestions, guidelines, and action plan with including the curricular content is being prepared, and also is being prepared and sent. And there are so many experiments are made with regard to teachers education, which is called as Acharya Prashikshan in Vidyabharati, and have developed the expertise in the same. Sorry. So now helping to develop the school quality assessment and accreditation framework. Uh, this, and we have something called as Manak Parishad. These are the successful initiatives which across our country with our rich experience in the school education. So based on our expertise, we should assess the SART in developing the school quality assessment and accreditation framework. And after consulting all the stakeholders, since there is a timeline for the implementation implementation of this NAP 2020. What we do is we sit in a small group to comprehend and then execute. So the experience in the field of education, it counts, and we should take a big part in implementation of this policy in a proper way with true spirit, which of course can affect the generations. So the efforts towards the institutional empowerment, clear this helping clearing hurdles. Democracy actually was very successful. It required establishment of powerful institutions once we got independent. So India inherited the administrative legacy from British after the independence. Therefore, most of our institutions, including the bureaucracy, is designed to fulfill the requirements of colonial rule. And now, to strengthen the true democracy, we are strengthening the Bharatiya values. So, in spite of so many hurdles, uh, we have to think of the institutional empowerment for better implementation and strategy, and get that as a school officers to ensure the well-aligned sharing of all the resources, infrastructure, experienced teachers, special teachers, and counselors in all the schools in that particular cluster. There should be a mention of Bal Bhavans, which should be Bal Sanskara Kendras, that is where we train the children, the pre-primary children, with art, with play, and the culture-related activities. So these Sanskara Kendras are the guidance where uh, the children are given with our culture, with our ceremonies, whatever we had earlier. There is something called Samajik Kendras, which show social service activities as our social responsibility. So this is in tune with our concept of school as a center of for social change, for which we had planned number of activities, planned every type of activities within our expertise, and help the government where we can help the government. Maybe we were suggested and have to be carried on. That is like one government school and one private school for such activities. So, of course, all these have to be done by close monitoring. So, the Department of Education will be responsible for overall monitoring and policy making for continuous improvement. All these educational options and other provisions of the schooling system are to be handled by the school education department. So, these have to be seen uh, in a very minute way where the development have to be considered every time through education. So again, coming to Vidya Bharati teams are in touch with all the agencies which get the things move on, and they repeat the interaction and acquaintances. Vidya Bharati is putting its all the efforts to the and it is giving the complete support to the entire during policy execution for almost 5 years, as I had mentioned in the beginning. So, as the policy is now the public domain, it has its role carved, and there are so many tasks fixed to the implementation level now as it's being implemented. It is in the best interest of the country. So entire network across the country, including all the stakeholders, were involved in the whole exercise. So uh, considering the rapport with the government machinery, we were meeting all the literacy, school education and literacy by providing inputs in a big way, including the concept notes on different subjects. Of course, we never forget to deliver our Shishuvatika material, which is our domain and effort for the last 4 decades. And so, this way, we have worked out sheets for ECC, which is submitted to the government, and improvised syllabus for ECC for all the graduate years were also attached. As we have seen, some people because of this pandemic and all, some people were not able to send their children to school during means for their education in for LKG and UKG. With the new education policy, we have come up something called as Vidya Pravesh. Vidya Pravesh is something there where the children are directly entered into class 1. Prior entering, they should have a 3-month preparatory model wherein they will be taught the complete aspect in a short way, which they learned if they would have gone to the pre-primary sections. So this is how we should not be restricted by the children being late, getting late admission in first standard, and also the absorbing capacity will be increased. So Vidya Pravesh is helping such children to um, get into the education system at the early years. We also have this we also have inputs for Bharatiya philosophical and psychological foundations, where uh, uh, we have about four focus areas, and there are so many workshops held for training our resource persons on developing and preparing the position papers and concept notes. Now, many of our educational administrators and academicians could develop self confidence in handling and facing the high government educational machinery, in fact. So, and the training for, very importantly, is training for Anganwadi workers, which is a main part of ICC, which is important, as this has to be considered for the importance of physical, mental, and intellectual development in that particular age. Now, early childhood care now added education makes it which training has been taken up very fast. In some states, it was completely handled by Vidya Bharati only. So that was the best part actually, and Vidya Bharati has been since its installation about 2 decades. It have it's not really wonderful. We have professional standards for teachers and elementary conducted, where the teachers are trained to the up to the mark of the police government, and also the so this shows the important initiative of Vidya Bharati. Also, I would like to take the foundation and let the numeracy, that is what national policy states, is there is the children at the end of their the basic numerical aspects, and also they should be uh, able to read at least 30 words per minute. So that's the standard what is being set, and as per the new education policy, and also as per the Vidya Bharati rules, the children are coping up to that. So there's so many initiatives from our end, but only few are mentioned actually. So this can be more helpful, more attained, more implemented through many NGOs and the professionals who work in the field of education. So early childhood, this first 5 years in education are actually very significant in terms of development. This early childhood is a critical time, and the experiences a child will have in these formative years, this stage is also called as the foundation stage. It plays a very important pivotal role in preparing the child for future success. So it is very essential that educators and other key stakeholders like parents, the schools, the governing bodies, sorry, recognize the integral role that early childhood education plays in lifelong learning. Although this places increasing pressure actually on early childhood educators, many of the challenges that we face as a profession can be overcome by working together as a whole to educate others. So the early childhood care and education is very important aspect, where even the teachers should be very well prepared to train the children, because as we always say, the children are our future. So to save our future, we have to train our child in a best way, best with the best things, and with the best culture we can provide. So that's all about ECC. Sumati ma'am, can you please take over the things? Thank you so much, and I really thank Getty for giving me this wonderful opportunity today to have a talk on ECC and so that I can enlighten my views about ECC and Vidya Bharati. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Pratibha Joshi, for giving us a very significant insight into the roles and responsibilities of all educators and parents, especially and particularly keeping in mind the suggestions that have come up in the new education policy and for early childhood care and education, what all we can shoulder the responsibilities that have been suggested by the government, and we all stakeholders really need to take a call on it. Thank you very much for joining us, and to partner with us in the disruptive literacy movement, please mail us at scaleup@globalDream.guru, or WhatsApp call can also be given to us at 917408406000. With that, we wind up today's talk and thank Pratibha ma'am for joining us all the way from Karnataka. And we'll definitely be meeting each other on yet another talk conducted by Global Education and Training Institute. Till that time, we sign off for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Getty, actually.